Hey lads, so I know we're on the back of the atrocity that happened last night on London Bridge, but what's the feel at the moment with the Real LTDA?
Doing things in a fair democratic fashion.
Groundhog Day is an understatement.
Representation.
Transparency is key.
And these two guys, I see driving a cab every day of the
Start
week.
getting the answers.
All I'm interested in is pushing the trade forward in the best direction.
I'll be there with Anthony Minor, so I'll be there with Peter Wall.
A list of the things that the Real LTDA have done. Remember the LCDC FOIs between Kulski, the Daily Mail and government? That was the work of the Real LTDA. Of recent times, we've got one of our members who've gone to see Chris Grayling and got him to openly declare that Sadiq Khan has never asked for a cap on private hire. We've also got that in black and white from Chris Grayling. That's the work of the Real LTDA. You see more emails and more communication from the LTDA. That is the work of the Real LTDA.
All we want to do is fight and strive for what's best for the members. Yeah. And the taxi trade. We want, you know, we're straight talking people. I'm a straight talking guy. There's no side to me. I'm not a yes man, never have been, never will be. And all I want to do is push the trade forward in the right direction. And if that means pushing our reps forward, I'm behind them pushing them, simple as that.
Just recently we've seen the Minister of Ireland, James Brokenshire. He's also got a letter from Chris Grayling to say that Sadiq Khan hasn't asked for a cap on private hire. That's the work of the Real LTDA. You know the camera car, have you seen the camera car driving about recently at St Pancras? That's the work of the Real LTDA. I'd like to go on and on and on and on.
Look, you can only feel what we're feeling when you're out here driving a cab for a living. It's as simple as that. We go through all the congestion, pollution, cycle lanes, the PHV numbers going through the roof, as we all know. We're suffering out on a daily basis. If you're not in there driving a cab, you don't see it. You don't know about it. It's as simple as that, in my opinion.
We're doing things in a fair democratic fashion. Everything's done according to the rule book. There's no lies on the Real LTDA, and as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of work going on. Sorry, I will bring this up as well. The work going on is there's a lot going on at Oxford Street at the moment. Obviously, we're all a bit worried that it will be pedestrianised, and you know these consultations, to me, are going to be the same thing as Bank Junction, and we've got people working hard. We've got communications with Westminster Council, TfL, and we've finally uncovered now that TfL were responsible for the removal of the signs, the no lefts and rights. So this, I'm just saying, this is the work we're doing.
We're real because we're keeping it real. We want to be out there with the drivers, informing the drivers what's going on at street level.
There's people who really want to put the time and effort in off their own backs, off their own times. I've got a young child, you know. I'd love to be spending a lot more time with my wife and my child, but I'm prepared to put the work in.
On the 14th of June at Woburn House, Tavistock Square, you've got the branch elections. Now, this is significant because you've got the elections for branch chairman and the branch secretary. Now, these positions are quite lowly positions. They're not members of Council of Management, but they're significant in the sense they get to sit in on the Council of Management meetings. They can also get commitment to policy. They are there to represent the trade and there to represent LTDA members. So the LTDA surely would want this. If they don't, it does beg the question of why they don't. Nevertheless, I think this is a great chance the trade has to really apply some pressure on the LTDA to get the policies in place that the trade desperately needs. Why do you think, you know, you're poised for that position as opposed to someone else who might be more familiar with the LTDA?
Well, like I mentioned earlier on, it wasn't what I would have envisaged myself going for, but we had a fair and democratic vote on the forum, and myself and Peter were put forward, and like I said, I feel that I always put the time in, as everyone knows in the group. I'll always put time into the forum, time off my own back. Like I mentioned earlier again, time that I could be spending. I've got a young child, and that's why I think the group put me forward.
Peter, come in. What do you think you can bring that they can't bring?
I think we can bring a lot of freshness, some really good ideas that we can put forward. Transparency is key. We want answers from, if the members and the drivers out there ask us a question at branch level, we'll put it to the representatives, the management, the com, and see what answers we get back. We're not going to be poo-pooed and just fobbed off by them. And we'll give the guys back at the next branch meeting who said no, who said yes, etc, etc. They might not like it, but that's the way. I think transparency is key in all this.
And like Peter says, I think if you ask around the membership who do attend branch meetings, they'll think there's a bit of a gap between the current branch chairman and the membership. And that's the feeling that a lot of the members are getting. And like I've said already, I already know a lot of the members that go to branch meetings. Most of them are in the forum, so I've got a relationship with them already. They know they can trust me. They know I work hard, and I think that's the difference between myself and someone who's already in the inside. Sorry.
Well, that's okay, and they've been on the inside for a long time, haven't they? So I think it's good that we have this, the link, but a new link between the council of management there and the LTDA and the trade, because like it or not, the LTDA represent the whole trade as well, and everybody's entitled to have opinion on the LTDA, because they had a position on the board at TfL for 8 years, and that's significant, and still with TfL they're official consultants, so everybody is entitled to have an opinion on the LTDA. A new branch chair and a new branch secretary could provide that intrinsic link. It's a good thing. When is it?
The 14th of June, Woburn House, Tavistock Square, 7 o'clock. Try and get there early as possible, and come and stick your hands up for myself and Peter.
And as I've said before, there's free parking after 6:30. No excuses. Give up an hour of your time, could make a hell of a difference to the future of your trade and everybody else's trade.
I just want to emphasise, if you've had the taxi newspaper, or if you've picked it up in the last week or so, you'll probably find that you've got nominations for the council of management there. That has nothing to do with the elections at the branch elections on the 14th, nothing at all. So if you voted for COM via a postal vote, this is a show of hands at the branch elections on the 14th of June. Completely different. We need you there.
It's exactly spot on, Sean. Yeah.
The reason I'll be voting for these two guys, Anthony and Peter, is I see them, I drive a cab most days of the week, like most of the people out there, most of the members out there, and I understand, as most of them do, how hard it is. And these two guys, I see driving a cab every day of the week. I see them out there, they're at the stations, sitting on the ranks with us, they're driving past, you see them in the CAFs. And that's the simple reason. I want a working driver, two working drivers up there on my behalf.
Groundhog Day is an understatement.
Representation. Transparency is key.
And these two guys, I see driving a cab every day of the
Start
week.
getting the answers.
All I'm interested in is pushing the trade forward in the best
I'll be there
direction.
with Anthony Minor, so I'll be there with Peter.